Imagine a place where the air smells like gunpowder and fear, where the silence after a gunshot is worth more than any word. A place where night doesn't fall, it collapses. Welcome to Alabama, where cities like Birmingham and Mobile are a living hell. The first time Birmingham looks you in the eye, it's not with its glass towers or its history of iron and steel. It's with a gas station lit up like a cheap stage where everyone knows their role, except you. There's no sign that says welcome, but there are codes. Don't stare, don't ask more than twice, don't go back the same way. The air smells of humidity and burnt rubber. The night has that cheap liquor sheen that promises courage while robbing you of judgment. In the distance, an engine cuts off a little too close, and someone, without seeing, lifts their head the way a drawbridge lifts, on instinct. "Nobody gives advice here," says a man in a cap with a scar. "Here, you just learn." And learning, if you slip up, comes with a bullet included. You laugh so you don't go speechless. You realize that you, who came to look, are already being watched. You get used fast to Birmingham's moral map. 4 neighborhoods in 3 blocks, a store that's neutral ground until someone decides it isn't, a court that's for kids by day and for settling scores without a referee by night. The car idles with a tremor, like it's nervous too. And by the 3rd traffic light you notice it. Facades change color, graffiti changes font, the eyes tracking you change their patience. "You're in the heart of the trenches," warns a kid who could be 16 or 22. "Age here stretches or shrinks depending on which side of fear you're on. With me, you're good. Just don't get used to it." They tell you that if you came looking for the most dangerous place, you'll find it without looking. Birmingham serves it by the spoonful. Mobile pours it in disposable cups. They're thick-blooded sisters, tied by a coastline that smells like salt and an interior that smells like old gunpowder. You remind yourself you're not here to add headlines, but to understand why someone on a corner can tell you without blinking. I like watching the videos where they get killed. It reminds me to stay real. And suddenly, adrenaline no longer feels like an editing trick. It's the basic way to stay upright. On a corner in Ensley, a young man shows you the edge of his cheekbone. It went in here, came out here. Smile, the camera's rolling. It isn't pride, not exactly. It's an exorcism. Next to him, another kid pulls out a wrinkled bill and smooths it with his thumbnail. Slow money or fast money? Choose. Slow asks for a resume and for you not to live here. Fast asks you to take a deep breath and run when an unfamiliar engine kills its lights. There's no academic debate. There are choices you make, like drinking water on a summer day, without thinking, because if you think, you die of thirst. The rules in Birmingham are hostages to their own logic. Don't snitch, don't forgive, don't forget. If someone from yours gets shot, there's a debt with no grace period. If someone steps out with a gun that sounds different, you're no longer in music, you're in accounting. Speak of a truce and you're weak, cry and you're suspicious. Ask too many questions and you're an outsider with an expiration date. "It's not that we don't believe in God," says a voice from a porch. "It's that God gets here late and the ambulances later. And you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or ask your camera to forget how to focus." In Mobile, the humidity hugs you from behind, and the gas station lights feel less electric and more cruel. They tell you you're in Pritchard, that the scales tip on a whim here, that the small hours are an endless remake of the same thing. Loud music, laughs that have practiced not breaking for years, an abrupt silence when a car that doesn't sound local rolls in. "If you come with us, you're fine," says a rapper with a voice roughened by Gulf salt. "If you come alone, they size you up like a bite." And Mobile chews slowly. Someone tells you what you already read in comments and headlines. Birmingham tops the lists, Mobile competes, and Alabama is a word spoken here with a tight mouth and clenched teeth. But numbers don't explain what a Tuesday funeral explains, a mother reminds you, cotton t-shirt and stone eyes. They don't explain either that at 14 you learn the difference between the sound of a switch and a semi-auto, the way you tell a bark from thunder. You want to say something smart, but all that comes out is, "I'm sorry." She nods like someone who's heard that line 100 times and kept the strength 100 times not to answer, "What good does that do me?" There's a church tucked among low houses that on Sundays rings the city to squeeze out a bit of honey. They welcome you with jambalaya, with a choir that carries the Mississippi in its throat, with young people who mix prayer and plans. One wants to be a barber and open a shop where, he says, we talk more about scholarships than bullets. Another dreams of starting a car wash to employ those one decision away from the edge. Everyone has a story with the police. They checked me in, put my life on pause. They stopped me for a face, not a name. Free 3 years later, but the clock doesn't rewind. A former player, broad shoulders, receiver's hands, says he saw his name and homicide in the same sentence and felt the world tilt. Therapy taught me to breathe. Sometimes all you need here is to breathe 2 seconds longer than the gunshot. The line hits you. Breathe 2 seconds longer than the gunshot. Music is the other road. Birmingham and Mobile share the rhythm of a heart that learned to beat through blows. Drill here isn't a genre, it's a mother tongue. Some say it saves, because it turns what would otherwise be pure resentment into a story. Others say it sinks, because the algorithm pays more for a bullet sung than for a book read. A kid admits that with his first track, he thought he was narrating. By the third, he was prescribing. Little kids were repeating my bars like commandments. His eyes dropped for a second, the only time in the whole interview. I'm no pastor, but I had to stop preaching that. Later, another raps to the camera like it's oxygen, and the corner vibrates. There's talent, pain, pride, hunger. There's no manual. A group cleaned the corner, says a man with a deep voice and a crisply ironed shirt, proud. They used to sell here and fight here. Now we talk here. He points to the stretch from a barbershop to a store with a blue awning. He says it's no miracle, it's insistence, talking, inviting, bringing folding chairs, handing out water in summer, saying no at 2 when someone suggests settling something the old way. Not everyone listens, but some do. And some, in Birmingham and Mobile, is treasure. The boys' laughter rings loud when they talk about enemies. It isn't that they find it funny, it's that a loud laugh is armor that hides fear. You ask if a truce is possible. Hell no. They explain that compassion reads as weakness, forgiveness isn't legal tender in their market, and if someone offers peace, it's probably a trap. A girl, though, drops a line like a stone into still water. I do feel for the mothers on the other side, but I won't go to their house because they won't come to mine. No one corrects her, no one cheers. That uncomfortable truth just keeps existing in the air. If you stay long enough, you learn to hear the layers of sound, the constant hum of camera pulls, unblinking surveillance, the crunch of dry plants under a boot that doesn't want to betray urgency, the click of a door locking twice, the whisper of a child asking whether grown-ups feel pain when they die. A man shakes his head and says the worst thing, the worst of all, isn't the bullet. It's that question in his son's mouth. You drink water without thirst, so you won't swallow gulps that aren't yours. By day in Mobile, pelicans fly like nothing bad ever happens. The sea deceives. On the same afternoon, kids splash each other with a bucket. The neighborhood hears about a shootout on the high school stadium ramp. It wasn't on the field, someone clarifies, as if the grass were sacred ground. It doesn't matter. The echo still comes in through the windows, sits at the table for a while, and looks at everyone asking for an explanation. No one knows how to give it. So dinner is earlier. Porch laughter is louder to keep the ghosts at bay. Why so much violence? You press the question, shape it, release it like it's harmless. They hand you a map, factories that left, schools that closed, houses the bank took, programs born with a photo op and dead without a budget. They don't want excuses, they want chronology. We didn't invent this, says a man patiently clearing a vacant lot. We just learned to live it, and sometimes to survive it. He points to the hose watering a row of saplings that, if nobody knocks them down, will cast shade in 8 years. Whether I'm here or not, someone will get a little piece of night that weighs less. In Birmingham at dusk, ribs smoke over improvised grills, and for a minute you forget where you are. A neighbor offers you a plate like he's offering safe passage. Eat. Empty stomachs talk nonsense with triggers, he jokes. Kids chase a ball inflated with too much air. Teens flash bright chains and phones with shattered screens. Grandmothers give you that mix of tenderness and watchfulness only grandmothers can summon. At the end of the block, a patrol car slows and then moves on. Maybe because they've learned peace isn't to be interrupted here. Maybe because they're headed somewhere it's already broken. Ethics changes names here, but not shape. You're a product of your environment. Doesn't sound like a threat. It sounds like geography. They say it with the same ease most people talk about the weather. If you don't want your kid breathing what you breathe, you have to move. A father says his plan is simple. By the time I go, he won't be here. He doesn't know when or how, but he knows the order. And that order, in the middle of chaos, is a reasonable prayer. Can you be a good person and have killed? The question, panel fodder anywhere else, gets a short answer here. Some yes, some no. They explain the city pushes people to the edges. Some defend themselves, some strike first, some pull the trigger out of fear, others for a name. They tell you not to judge without knowing that when you sit to eat with someone, they may be carrying guilt that'll never fit in a report. They don't ask for absolution, they ask for context. And sometimes, for silence. Night returns, as it always does, and you've learned to walk with your shoulders an inch lower so you don't look like a challenge. In Mobile, a group escorts you to another area. 3 cars, low beams, windows down, music floating. They show you a vacant lot where there used to be projects. Now there's a fence, and the problem didn't disappear. It moved. That's how it is, says the one who's part guide, part guard. Take the board away, and the game keeps playing on the sidewalk. And that's how we reach the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, I invite you to leave a like so we can keep making more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos. Have a great day. See you next time.